Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. This is a guest I've been waiting so long to get on this show. She is the greatest female bodybuilder of all time, as evidenced by 10 Ms. Olympia titles, 7 Ms. International titles. Please welcome from Las Vegas, Iris Kyle. How are you?
Th- Thanks, Ron. Thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, man, your comeback. Everyone's excited, Iris, because you were fun to watch. You were just so dominating. Like Ronnie in his prime. It was just Dorian in his prime. It was fun to see someone who was that good at what they did. Just the very top of their game, the best in the world without question. And then after 2014, we haven't seen you on stage. So first of all, man, thanks for deciding to come back for the fans. We're all very very appreciative of that for one thing. Um,
Thanks. I'm actually stoked myself, excited to see exactly what kind of physique I can display. It's been about 5 or 6 years. So not only I'm coming back for the fans, it's just something intriguing in myself that need to see exactly how I can make a change.
yeah. So we'll start this not at the very beginning of your career, but let's start with your last Ms. International win was 2013 because they didn't have any more Ms. Internationals after that, so you couldn't
Right.
keep winning them. When that got discontinued, the bodybuilding female bodybuilding at the Arnold Classic, were you immediately starting to think, I wonder if the Ms. Olympia is next?
Never rang a bell. I think when you think the Olympia being the most prestigious event ever, and that's where everyone sets their goal to be to grace that stage, you just don't ever think that that will ever dissipate. You'll never think that it'll go away. So no, absolutely not.
Yeah. So I can't remember. It's been so long because 2014 was your 10th Ms. Olympia win, and that was the last time we had a Ms. Olympia contest. So we've missed seven Ms. Olympias, 6 or 7 of them since then. But how soon after that event did you, or was it announced? I don't remember that they would not be having another Ms. Olympia.
It was announced a few if I'm not wrong, it was announced a lot later on after it was definitely wasn't announced that night of me winning. Of course
Yeah.
not. They don't want to take that away from me.
Yeah.
All that hard work, and they're gonna say, "Hey, this is the last one." So, like a few months later, because I think they was sort of thinking it over, so it didn't. It came a couple of months later for sure.
Yeah.
But I
So
did hear rumors, and I can almost. I don't want to quote and say it's actually for sure, but I can remember years ago where Jim Mannion had mentioned that they're going to be implementing Physique, and
mhm.
based on how Physique takes off, it's possibly going to be the new era for bodybuilding. So he said, "Ours, you make sure that you collect as many wins as possible because it's another class coming out, and we're going to see how that works out, and that'll kind of dictate where bodybuilding will go for women."
Yeah. So I guess I should back up to 2013 because that was the first year for women's physique. First of all, when that division was announced and you heard that this was going to be a thing, what was your reaction initially?
Interesting, but not something that I partake in. I just wanted to see ideally what exactly they're going to be judging because it's kind of different. I think it's now to this day to me it's just like bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah,
They're a little bit crispier, harder, full, muscular. The only thing I see slightly different is the way they hold their hands. They're open. They're a little bit gracefully. They're not really doing too much of a hardcore posing. They're trying to be a little bit more soft spoken. But to me, it's the same.
yeah. It's very very similar. You're right. It's very very similar. And I don't know. Were you? I was dumbfounded when I first saw the poses, and I'm thinking, okay, so this is feminine and this is not. I mean,
Right.
I don't want to make fun of whoever made up all the poses and how they had to be done or anything, but it just seemed kind of crazy to me.
It didn't
Um,
fit.
didn't fit. So yeah, I want to go back when that announcement was made that there was going to be no Ms. Olympia. I mean, I was shocked, and I'm sure you had to be beyond shocked to hear that.
I was very shocked in the sense of, oh my God, this is almost like my career and also the other ladies. And so where do we go now? We've spent anywhere from 6 to 15 plus years calling this home, calling this our career, calling this our staple center, our domain, and then to have it just taken away without a vote is astonishing. And it was almost like, in a sense, disrespectful and uncaring.
Yeah. So, do you remember what the reasons given? Why? How did they explain why they had to get rid of it, or why the decision was made?
I don't think they initially gave us a reason. I mean, if you put about 15, maybe five women in the room, I guess all of us would come with different answers. And the rumor that I heard is that the women weren't selling tickets. How do you count tickets? Someone go and buy a VIP ticket. Is it going towards the men? Is it going to the bikinis? Or is it going to the physique? How do you determine who came and purchased a VIP ticket to come see which class? So it
Even
was very
even a
strange for,
regular ticket, Iris, it's like a Friday or
yeah,
Saturday night. It's like 4 or 5 divisions.
absolutely. So how you
So
know you went and talked to each and every one of those audience members, say, who did you come to see today?
yeah,
So it was strange for you to sit there and say you have a full house, and I know myself have so many fans, and I know the other girls as well. How could they sit and say we're selling tickets? I don't care how you add it up; they still were making money, and it was not hurting for them to remain that class afloat.
because I mean, if you can add pretty much a new class, a new division every year, which is I think for about 5 or 6 years, I think we did get a new division or two every year for quite a
Absolutely,
while. So you
yes.
could never say that these ones are selling tickets because they haven't. It's their first Olympia. How would you even know? But anyway,
Yes.
it's let's get off that topic. But so I have to ask, when that happened, this was your. I imagine you had other things going on, but I mean, you're the world champion. You're the Olympia champion 10 times, and now there's no Ms. Olympia. Um, were you thinking I'm not going to compete anymore? Maybe I'll compete if there are other good shows. What were your competitive plans at that point?
Um, once you break a record, and I do believe, and I still believe to this day, I have the most titles. But I know um, history. People break records. It's going to be a time where, they're stating, "Hey, Iris, no one's going to ever break a record. Records are made to be broken." So when I had broken the record, I had kind of drawn a conclusion: is this something that I want to continue to pursue? Based on the fact that it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, sacrifices, and things of that nature. It intertwines with everything that you want to do in life. So you have to really play it out. Is it worthy? Is the money really giving you what you want? It's so many things linked into competing that at that point, after breaking the record, I had turned the chapter in my life where I said, I have nothing else to prove.
Mm,
So to answer your question, it was like, of course I'm going to miss this. It's a very deep passion of mine, and to see it just not be there for me to have the opportunity to do was was I was speechless, and
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, really?
Mm. So I don't know how soon after Jake Woods started promoting the larger events like he's been doing for a few years now. But when
Mm-hmm.
those first came out, was that an option you had? Like maybe because it's not the Ms. Olympia, but the prize money was pretty damn good, and I think they've always given away a really nice car too.
Right, absolutely. I think after I had stated that I retired, my mind that very first year was set, and I can remember being at the Arnold, and Tim Gardner approached me at my booth, P-Day at my, I think it was, yeah, it was Arnold, was at the booth, and he pretty much said, "Are you going to do the Wings of Strength?" My mind was real set at, hey, I'm retired. I'm going to try to do other things with fitness, go into different avenues of um, entertainment business, and just take my passion that I have and place it into helping others and doing other things besides being on stage. So I was set in stone that very first year that I'm done. And regardless of what the prize money and what was offered in the other events, I wasn't there. It hadn't played anything into me to want to compete again after that. After I had said I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone beats your record, I don't think either one of us is going to live to see it. It's going to be that far into the future.
That would be great.
I hope I'm not being morbid, but that's pretty realistic. I mean, if they start winning this year, 2020, they're not going to beat your record until 2031. Whoever this woman is. Yeah, I want to know toward the end. You'd already, I think, what did Linda have? 8, 7 or
Yes,
8, 8. So I mean,
8.
once you had 9, it was pretty safe to say, I've got this record down. It was 10 just like a number in your head, or that you said 10 would be a great even number to end my reign at?
It, 10 rings a bell. It sounds
It
great. Double
does.
digits. I had a lot of other interesting ideas in front of me, trying to promote shows in Japan and touring a lot. And if I'm going to continue to compete, I had to really realize that I had to stay stationary. Because when I compete, I simply sit it down, close all the doors, tell my family, hey, don't call me, I'll call you. And I'm in this isolation. And so those things, when I have to do those things, I can't find myself venturing out to do other things. So when I got 10, I kind of had made up my mind. Not kind of, I did make up my mind that I'm walking away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've done. I only know about one business, the Body Cafe, but I'll ask about that soon. But first, I want to know that every time I've seen you at many shows since you quote unquote retired, and
Mhm.
you never looked retired. Put it that way. A
Thank
lot of people.
you.
I mean, a lot of people you could tell they still kind of work out. Former champions, they still go to the gym, but nothing like before. You've never looked to me like you were more than 6 or 8 weeks out from getting on stage if you really wanted to.
Mhm.
So did you keep is the training and the clean eating, is that just a passion that was never going to go away regardless?
Yes, I think being an ambassador of the sport, regardless of your livelihood or the things that you do other than bodybuild or train, I think you should walk that walk and set a statement for others. Um, because they do have this idea that bodybuilders just pretty much look that way once. They're competing only, and off season they look like a whole nother different person. And I don't have a problem with having clean foods and eating in moderation, and then sometimes binging on some pizza and ice cream. But for the most part, I'm passionate about training. Even till this day, going to the gym is like number one on my book. Making sure that I eat. I don't really have a huge appetite off season. When I'm not getting ready for a show, 3 or 4 meals a day and a couple of shakes, I'm good. I don't have a binging problem. I don't have any kind of like what do you call it? They say addictive personality. They say that doesn't exist,
Yeah.
but I do think so. Addictive personality to anything. So it was simple, and believe it or not, the gym is somewhere where I consider a meditation area for me
Mm.
to pretty much stabilize what I'm going to do for the rest of my day and also for my future. So if I take that away, how am I going to really kind of plan what I need to do if the gym is not where I go for my zoning?
True, true. Yeah, Irish. I remember an interview we did long ago for, I want to say it was Muscle Mag, and I was stunned at how much cardio you were doing at the time, which is a lot because I knew you had to be doing a good amount of cardio just to condition it. It added up, but I think you were telling me like 3 hours
Three
a day.
hours. Yes.
Wow.
I love cardio, and if I could display a physique like I was displaying on stage by just doing cardio,
Mm.
sign me up.
Man, because was that prep or was that year round?
That's prep, just prep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, that's a lot of cardio
And
for off
then
season.
if I didn't get 3 hours in, I'm like, man, I'm cheating. You're not doing your work, Iris. So
So, have you followed female bodybuilding this whole time?
I follow female bodybuilder building. I want to say here and there, and why I want to say that is because I don't even know how to express myself here. Is because when they tried to tell me that I had to re-qualify that
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
I was a little bit turned off. Not with the female athletes in general. I was just closed off in a way of saying, how could they say that to me when I have the most wins? I have 10 Olympia titles, and they're telling me that I need to requalify in order to fit in a class that's not the Olympia.
Yeah.
So I watched it from afar, but did I just go and sit in the audience and cheer the athletes on? No. So I wasn't as supportive as I could have been, but that's just my own personal choice without holding any grudges or anything because we have some great women out there. And I do speak to quite a few of them when I'm in contact with them or in the same room. So it's nothing against the women because it's a lot of work that we do. So to say, um, did I just close my eyes and say it doesn't exist? No, I just had ill feelings towards the way I was treated.
Mm. Yeah. Hey, it's funny. I've talked to Ronnie a lot of times. I try to get his predictions for certain shows, and sometimes he doesn't even know who pros I'm talking about are, and people are
Right.
stunned when they see the interview, like, "Oh my God, Ronnie doesn't know who this or that guy is." Thinking that was his entire life for so long, and you expect him to
Hmm.
still be obsessed with it, the way a super fan would be. That's like expecting every retired basketball or football player to stay up all night watching every game on, that they can possibly watch because they're expected to be this diehard fan. But
Right.
as I think as an athlete, you have a different perspective than the fans do, correct?
Right. I believe it or not, and not trying to be shadow or anything of that nature. I cannot even name 10 female bodybuilders' full names, and I think that was because being in the top crop of women, top five, I always used to remember Yaxina. I
Hmm.
used to remember Diana Cadell
Yeah.
and a few other, Kathy LaFrancois, a few other, Betty Pariso, because she's a promoter. Just some names, not taking anything from them, not making saying that they're less than I because they are on that Olympic stage with me.
Yeah.
It's just my homework is not studying other women. My homework is to please the judges. So at the end of the day, when I'm going to a competition, I'm not looking on the internet to see who's doing what and how their physiques are looking and what their names and trying to remember their history. I'm digging in, looking in the mirror and saying, Iris, your physique need to be an X factor. You need to place muscle here. You need to have separation here. And all the girls that you're going to see at the show, they're not going to mean anything to you. You're going there to have a communication with the judges, and you're going to be pleasant to the other female athletes, and that's it. Because we're not going to chop shop later. We all
Yeah.
have so many different obligations that we're in. Some of us are married, some of us have kids, and some of us have numerous other jobs. So it's not like we're going to chop shop later and we're going to stay in contact later. So why do I need to remember your name? As long as I'm cordial, respectful to you, that's it. That's
Fair
all
enough.
I.
That's fair enough. So, as soon as it was announced a couple weeks ago, was it about a week ago that you were coming back? Whenever it was, you had two huge reactions. Of course, one group of people said, "Lights out! Just send her the trophy now." It's these other women, they don't have a chance. Iris is the greatest of all time. What are you going to do? And then other people said, "Well, she hasn't competed in a very long time. She's been away from the stage. You are, I want to say, 45,
Uh-huh. Yes.
45. You know, you're you're
You're
you're
supposed to
not
say
as
older. You're mature. You don't supposed to say the number.
well. I'm 50. I'm almost 51. We're not as young as we used to be. Nobody is, right?
Right.
Um, so, what was your reaction to the people who said it's going to be just a domination? Iris just has to show up and she wins. And what do you think when these people question and say, "I don't know, Iris, these other women are hungry and they've been competing the whole time, and Iris has been away for years and the better part of a decade now, 7 years, right? And
Huh?
no one's seen what you look like in so long. There's doubters. So let's
Right.
just say address the doubters, and how do you respond to that?
I say this: when you create um, a platform for yourself. Okay, I'm a bodybuilder. Okay, therefore, it doesn't leave my platform just because I'm not on stage. Therefore, just because I'm not hitting it competitively, and I don't have that pressure, and I don't have to establish this certain physique, doesn't mean that the weights went away. Doesn't mean that I'm not in the gym, I'm not doing my cardio, I'm not implementing a dietary habits and things of that nature. So therefore, for all the ones who say, you've been away for a long time, you don't have it no more, I'm still healthy, I have no injuries, I still passion, I love the game, and I am very competitive. So that crowd over there, I just say wait till December 17th to the 21st and see exactly how far I've been away.
So there's that side that says, well, she's been away 7 years, she might be worse, but let's go the other route and say 7 years. You've had 7 years to work on anything that you could possibly have wanted to work on with your physique. You might be better. So is it possible you might actually be better
I
2020
will
than you were?
I will be better.
Nice. Okay.
I have no choice. It's not an option. I didn't I did not come back to the Olympia stage to be any worse. They always say champs return and they always fail themselves. I came there because I'm a record holder and this is historical to me and I'm gonna make history.
Yeah.
So therefore it's not an option to be nowhere but in that number one slot and it is not an option but to show a better physique than I ever had in my life.
Yeah. Because you have to know the target on your back right now.
It's large.
Any woman, the bragging rights alone for beating Iris Kyle would be just phenomenal.
Huge, huge.
You could retire. You could drop the mic after that one. You're done. So
Right.
does that give you motivation? On these women, they are dying. They would love to beat you. They would love
I,
it.
I know they wouldn't even go to sleep. So that is my motivation. Coming back as a mature athlete, having age under my belt, and having been on the stage for 6, 7 years, whichever one you want to use,
Yeah.
it's total motivation. Nothing else more stirs me up the wall, help me climb on top of the roof, other than knowing that I have two main key points against me: age, been away from the stage. I already show them what that means to me. And then they'll also get on board and say, age is nothing but a number. It's all about your lifestyle.
Yeah. Do you think people talk less about age now because of Dexter? Because Dexter's 50 and he's still beating all these guys half his age on a routine basis.
There it's I think it's a fine line. It's 50-50 still.
Mm, yeah, true. So you've had 6, 7 years where you didn't have to prepare for the MS Olympia. Tell me, I know Body Cafe, but tell me all the different things they've been doing this whole time.
So not believe it or not, my lifestyle hasn't really changed other than not walking and gracing that stage. I still travel quite a bit all over for seminars, speaking, guest posing, hold 2 great shows a year with Hide Yamagishi in Japan. Um, and I coach, I mentor, and all those links. And I still do little small projects in the industry, like Katy Perry video. I was one of the main, what do you call it? The main whatever characters in her last gig, and I'm all over. I'm just an active person who wants to get in a little bit of everything that involves fitness, and Body Cafe is just a small portion of what we have. Um, it opened a lot of doors, but it's probably like one of our most pride and joy because Hida and myself, get to actually be one on one with other athletes or other interesting walks of life who are totally into fitness, and we get to share our history and our experience and give them different implements on their diets, their supplementation. So I I wouldn't change my lifestyle, and I've been very busy. I've been blessed because normally once you off stage, any athletes that's in retirement, they kind of hit a depression stage.
Mm.
So much time, and they're thinking the fans forgot about them. I haven't had that opportunity to just sit and dwell on missing it.
Mm.
Of course, I do deep down inside, but because I'm still in the clinch, going to the shows, and I go to quite a few shows, and I just feel like life is beautiful, and
Mm.
um, no regrets, and I'm just busy. I'm a busy girl. Sleep less. Sleep is overrated, and I'm just happy how things are going.
That's another thing. Was it like 4 or 5 hours? Is that all you sleep at night?
Yeah, 4, some days 5.
Jeez. Wow. I'm
Like,
sorry.
how
That
can I
just,
grow?
it's not that. How can you function? I mean, I know like Arnold sleeps a few. I remember Ronnie even said, I think he only slept like 5 hours. And Arnold was famous for only, a lot of, there are these successful people like yourself and those others who you're fine with just 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
I mean, it would be great to get more, but it just seems like I'm missing out. I'm not going to turn that corner where I'm supposed to be doing something. So it's like, hey, you can take mini naps. If it's 50, 15, 20 minutes, it seems like you don't got a lot of rest. So those mini naps happen, but just deep sleeping at night, 4 hours was right at the cap of things.
Hmm, commendable. So Body Cafe, that's I want to correct me, retail supplements, and is it a health food restaurant also?
Yeah, we have it's not a real restaurant where we're cooking the foods. There are portion control meals that we
Oh,
have a chef that prepare for us. We have a menu that changes every week, and they're all portion control meals, real healthy meals for our members. We have clientele who just pretty much have their whole weekly meal ordered through our business.
oh, right on. So how did the quarantine affect you? Were the gyms were closed? How'd you train? And I assume your Body Cafe was shut down for a while?
Yes, Body Cafe actually shut down before the quarantine took place. The owner of the gym, he I don't know. I still don't know the truth about it, but in a way, I do know the truth about it. But I don't want to spread things that's just not accurate or I don't have the foundation for.
Yeah.
But in December of last year, December 31st, we actually closed Body Cafe because the
Oh,
owner of City Athletic he decided to step away from that gym and venture out somewhere else. So all the tenants that were in there, the trainers and all the other sub leasers, had to vacate at the end of 2019. So
wow.
we closed up and just got a little section warehouse type situation. Um, and we're still because our online is huge.
Mm,
We cater to a lot of people nationwide, and so we're still afloat. Matter of fact, all that overhead that vanished is
mm,
almost like a plus. So Hida and I are still sending packages out every day, like 6 big boxes of supplements. The quarantine, I've always been a homebody, so
mm.
being out and about was never something that I entertained. Living in Vegas, I probably can count how many times I've been down on the strip. I go shopping maybe, but I've always been a homebody, or I'm in the plane going somewhere else.
Hmm.
And workout, come on, Ron. You know I'm going to get the workout in.
I don't. Where'd you train? That's my next question.
You know that's a secret, right?
Well, I mean, if it's a private
Well,
training studio or something, that's legit.
no,
There was
I have a home gym.
okay, right on.
So all the things that I need to get ready, as I have it, except for maybe in and out of thigh machines. I'm gonna have to go to. I'll go to 24-hour fitness like 5 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
because you get to set an appointment 2 days to go, and I'll just do those little exercises that I can't get at home in. But I'm pretty equipped in the house.
Excellent to hear. Um, Man, I don't know why they start doing construction at this hour in my neighborhood. But it's funny you talk about you've only been in the strip. You can count on like on one hand because people assume if you move to Vegas, you're like a party animal. That you're
Right.
someone who wants to go to clubs and someone who's just crazy and wild. But you don't strike me as being a crazy wild party animal.
No, I'm a party animal, but you would know it. No, it's just most people, the residents, the majority of the residents of Las Vegas don't find going to the strip entertaining as much because you already know that you can go anytime. So you pretty much allow the tourists to enjoy.
Yeah.
And it's really it can be really hectic down
I have to know, how do you deal with the heat? That is like one of the hottest places I've ever been in my
there.
life.
I
Oh,
can't. Ron, I really try not to go out after 1 or 2, but that's one thing I don't like about Vegas is the heat. So you can probably find me in the inside a lot, and then maybe out after the sun goes down a little bit. I don't
yeah,
like it. I
yeah,
miss California.
yeah. I mean, you guys think California's hot. Las Vegas right now, oh, it's like an NBA score, the temperature.
Yes, I just don't miss the taxes in California, so that's the trade off right there.
Yeah. Well, California, were you in Orange County or LA County?
Yes, Orange County, and then partially I was in LA a little bit, but mainly Orange County.
Yeah. Real estate in both counties is ridiculously
It's
overpriced.
crazy.
The last time I looked at houses out there, I was like, "Really? Are you serious?" But
I know.
somebody's paying that money for them. So here we are. It's only late July, so you have almost 5 months to go. Uh,
22 weeks.
oh, you
Yes.
got. I was gonna. You counting them down already. Did typically how long did you prep? Was it standard 16 weeks or more or less?
12.
12. Okay.
So I got
Because
extra 10 weeks.
condition wise, I mean, am I wrong? You stay very very lean all the time, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to stay 5 to 7 pounds off season, nothing more.
Nobody does that. That's what everyone says. Everyone says I'm going to stay. Nobody actually does it, but you actually do it.
That's the
So,
first thing I do in the morning is cardio. I have every piece of cardio equipment in my house, so cardio is the first thing.
did you always coach yourself, or did you have a nutritionist?
I always coach myself. I started training with Patrick Lynn a long time ago when I
Oh,
first when I was an amateur. He was a pro, so he kind of paved the way and gave me great ideas and constructive criticism and told me, A, B, and C. But after that point, when I became a professional, all my professionalism of the coaching, of training, dietitian, and all that things was pretty much all my work.
hmm.
A
So
lot of
are you?
reading, a lot of trial and error, and things of that nature, just tweaking.
So you've gotten to that condition all those times with no coach.
No coach.
Wow. So I assume you're not going to use one for this Olympia.
Yes, I'm going to use a coach.
Oh, who's
I
that?
decided.
Huh?
I I'm telling you the secrets right now.
Yeah, who's this coach?
I'm just gonna say we're gonna be working together. I'm not gonna say my hands are tied behind my back.
That's fine.
I'm gonna still play a big part of it. But me and Patrick tour.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Excellent. I
gonna.
like that.
When I was coming back, when I was actually getting ready for the Wings of Strength that second year,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get me to requalify, things of that nature. I was in crazy shape because me and Patrick was doing some things at that time.
Hmm.
I kid you not, I probably was almost ready, and it was still almost 6, 7 weeks to go. Huge.
Yeah.
That separation, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was
You're,
really crazy.
I'm
So
not surprised. You always strike me as someone who would be ready well in advance, not someone who's like doing voodoo at the last minute trying to get in shape.
I'm very I'm looking forward to what I can see what I can do in a very healthy way though, you know?
Yeah. Now, do you think the standards have changed for women's bodybuilding since then? I mean, I don't personally think so, but do you think there have even been trends? Because I've seen all types of physiques win pro shows.
Right. I think at the end of the day it's three elements to a bodybuilder, to a physique period. It's the whole body separation, the physique within itself, the shape of the body, the X factor is the first thing that you're supposed to look at, and then the condition and then the mass. The mass had to be proportion. So when you talking about judging athletes, you put six girls in front and you say, okay, she's symmetrical. She goes to the left, you're not symmetrical. You go to the right. Then you take the girls who are well distributed with their mass. They're not so top heavy and they're so skinny down low. So okay, so you're so balanced. You go to the right, you go to the left, and then you take the separation. Is it too much? Is it too less? What is too much? You're
Mm.
supposed to go there and see the fiber of every muscle in the body. So I don't even believe that it's too much.
Yeah.
So the girls who are very conditioned go to the right, and the other ones go to the left. That's how I see it. So when they say have they changed, are they going to still go with the style of Irish cow, or are they looking at something else? What the hell do that mean? Are the bodies supposed to be some kind of a shape?
Mm.
So I'm just going to say no.
Yeah.
So the standards are still the same.
Yeah, because there have always been saying times when they said, well, now the judging is shifting away from mass or away from conditioning and so, and they the next contest some women would intentionally come in softer and they get destroyed. They wouldn't even get a
Right,
call out, and they're like,
right,
why did I listen? Why did I listen to that? Yeah,
right. I think you have to pretty much play that card on your own and say, this is what I like, this is what I look for. And I think that's how I did. That's how I really did my whole career. Is like, this is the book look that I want to present, and I'm just hoping this is what the judge like, and it wouldn't allow me to go like a yo-yo and say, okay, I'm going to go like this because this is what this judge told me. Unfortunately, I really tried not to get the opinions from the judge. If they place me second, first, third, fourth, whatever place, that's the place I got. I don't need to go tweak their brains and say, what do I need to do? I respect what their decisions are, but I respect the decision of myself, what I want to look like.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I give you so much credit for staying true to yourself all those years because I don't know if people ever directly told you to do this or that, to change this or that, or if you just heard it secondhand from people. But if you ever were told or heard that, you clearly didn't listen because you kept bringing, if they said, well, Iris, Iris is too big or Iris is too ripped. And you came in as a bodybuilder, as much muscle mass as you could carry, as little
Mm-hmm.
body fat as you could have on your body. And you were rewarded. You kept winning anyway. So why change? But were there ever times when people directly, obviously we're not going to ask you to name them, did anyone ever directly tell you to change anything?
No, no, I was never directed. I just was hearing through the cracks of the wall
Mm.
that Iris is not the ideal look of a bodybuilder. No, Iris, I really can't even quote it to where it's respectful or disrespectful. It was just saying, is that the look that they want, or it's just.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly from fans, someone who just want their person to win. But for the most part, no judge has ever said, "Hey, Iris, what you want to do? You might want to calm down a little bit. Your face is really drawn, because my face do get drawn. Your face is really drawn, and you don't have to come that hard." And so, indirectly, it's been said, but directly to me, not at all.
Because I sort of figured when women's physique came out, and that was women's bodybuilding light, basically, as far as I'm concerned, like diet women's. you know, they were a little smaller. They weren't supposed to be as ripped, which they came in ripped anyway.
Right.
They didn't listen. So I figured, well, if they're going to have that division, they might as well leave the female bodybuilders alone to bring the look that they want to look, and stop
Right.
telling them, do this, get smaller, get softer. Just
Right.
like, just like when Classic came along, I said, okay, well, this is so the people will have the guys, they'll have the tiny waists and this and that, and they can leave the open guys alone if they want to come in at 320 pounds, whatever. Let them just be who they want to be. Did That's the one thing did you get that impression when Women's Physique came out, that
I
now
thought
they're
they
going
were
to
going to.
leave us alone?
Yes, I thought it was going to be the bodybuilders are going to come in with a very hardcore look, and the physique is going to implement where it's a little bit softer.
Mm.
Exactly.
But condition wise, they came in pretty much as I've seen them pretty much with striated glutes every time. The winner, the
Yes.
top 3, 4, 5 women always have, even in physique. So clearly that you can't tell people don't come in condition, because someone's going to come in ripped and they're going to win, and everyone else is going to go, why did I do that? Anyway,
Yes.
let's get into the positive, really positive stuff. How excited are you to be able to have a Ms. Olympia to train for again and to
Oh
hopefully win
man,
again?
I'm not even sleeping well at night. The 5, 6, 4 hours of sleep. I'm like, oh, gotta get up. It's 5 o'clock. You should already be dressed. So I'm excited because not only for the fans, but just in general, just to have that prestigious event back available for all those women who really love to train and display their physique and show the world what they have established. So it's words. There are no words to express how we're blessed to have this opportunity back. I cannot. You know what? Like I told Dan Solomon, and I also told Jake, I'm like, whatever happened, whatever took place, and why it took place, I throw my hats off. I get down on my knees, and I want to let you guys know that I'm very pleased that you guys have given us this opportunity, because without them people in those respective spots, it probably wouldn't have happened. You know, so
Mm.
it's 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 great.
Yeah, I mean, Jake,
It makes me very emotional.
I, I honestly don't think it would have happened without Jake, because, you know,
Yeah.
Jake's the one. He proved that there is an audience for this, and there are sponsors for this, and that people
Right.
wanted it. Because if it couldn't sell tickets and people couldn't sponsor it, how would these Wings of Strength shows have been prospering for the past few years? And how would they possibly have been able to give away prize money that
Like that.
surpassed better money than the Ms. Olympia ever had?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
clearly, there's an audience for it. There's a market for it, and Jake was the only one that really seemed to make that a viable option to be able to bring it back. So my
Yeah,
hats off to that.
he has a very big heart. I spoke with him a long time yesterday, and just in general about bodybuilding, he really loves it and he's passionate about it. He's not just about making the money. He's about making sure everyone who's a part of that establishment is going home happy. That's from the fans too, not only the athletes but the fans too, and that takes a lot. Because normally when you're in the business to win, and if that means that you're going home alone with the money, that's all good. But that guy, he has a whole different perspective. He wants to see change. He wants to see where everyone's entertained, and he wants to see some champs really get what they deserve.
Right on. So if you win 11, which is a very, very real possibility, of
That's a
course,
that's a good number, Ron.
it's not an even number though. So
I
you're going to have to
know.
go for 12. I mean, do you still have, I mean, physique wise, health wise, you seem like everything's still running on all cylinders. Could you keep doing this for another few years? Is it possible if you wanted
Uh,
to?
I really, really think God gave me this path. This is not a hiccup. This is not a fluke. This is not luck. I've been competing for a very long time. I'm fortunate not to have any major injuries, not an injury whatsoever. At one point, I had a little knee going on where it was just water tension or something that was minor. So, do I have the know how? Do I have the spirit to continue after winning number 11? I do. And I say that you can't predict your future, but you can cast it.
Mm.
You can sit down and make goals and say, look, I won 11. I'm returning. It's we're not we're not ever sure about where we're going. We can say yes. I can say yes. I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
Health wise, yes, I am.
Hmm.
I miss it, and if God allows me to continue, I will.
Right on. Well, man, I just want to end this by thanking you for because you could have said no. You when they asked you, please, would you like to come back? You've nothing to prove is an understatement. You know, there's never going to be. I'll say this with conviction. There will never be a 10-time Mr. Olympia ever. It's not going to happen. I mean, if Ronnie couldn't do it and Lee Haney couldn't do it, Phil
Right.
could. Phil, I don't. You know, it's just not going to happen. You know, you'll go down as the greatest Olympia champion ever. Um, so
That's
thank
a
you for with all that already on, you know, on your list of accomplishments. There was no need for you to do this, but you know, fans have been dying to see you back. All fans of women's bodybuilding have been so bummed for these years when you know it's not like you retired because you were injured or you're just sick of the sport. You retired because there was no more Ms. Olympia contest.
yes.
So, man, thank you for on behalf of all the fans for doing this.
I'm very pleased to be here, and I'm gonna make sure that the fans leave with a smile on their face either way it goes, win, lose, or draw. I'm just happy that I have the will and I still have the passion, and I'm healthy to do so. So I look forward to that day, December 17th to the 21st, whatnot, to really enjoy each and every second of that Olympia weekend.
Cool. All right. Everyone, I want to encourage you to follow Iris on Instagram at just her name, Iris Kyle, IrisKyle. And you can see her journey to the most likely 11th Ms. Olympia title in December. It's going to be a fun ride. So we're all going to be watching with great interest, Iris.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. All right. Everybody, thanks for watching Ronline Report with 10-time Ms. Olympia champion Iris Kyle. We'll see you next time.
Signing